So today I'm talking about binge eating. Yes, over the last week or so, 2 weeks, I've been doing videos about dieting, eating, how to track your calories, your macros, what sort of food you can eat, little tricks on how to lose a few calories, so you can have a treat. But none of that is relevant if you cannot tackle binge eating. Binge eating, I would say, and it's not just eating, it's drinking as well, because obviously it's calories, is probably, I would say, the hardest thing to tackle. People can go on diets, and the reason why they can't stick to them is because of the food that they enjoy, that they usually eat. They just have one thing and they cannot stop. They can't control themselves. I know that. I've been there. I still do that. When you've had a bad day, or you're having a stressful week, or something goes wrong in your life, that is usually the time when you start binge eating. Eating is a lot different from drinking, I would say. Binge drinking is a culture now. Well, it was when we could all go out, but it's something that you can choose. Obviously, alcohol obviously, if you drink a lot of alcohol and you enjoy it, it can be a problem, but that's a completely different thing. But binge drinking is something what you do where you don't really drink, and then you go out and you absolutely get wasted on alcohol. You spend hundreds of pounds on really a lot of drink, where it's probably your month's total, maybe even 2 months total in one single night. And yeah, that is something that we've all done it. But eating is a lot different. It's a lot harder, because we eat food every single day. Not everybody drinks. For instance, I don't drink. The only time I drink is when I've gone out on a night out, and I do binge drink, because I don't drink that much. And food is a lot different. We have food every single day. Food is the easiest thing to go to as well when you're feeling down, and most of the time it doesn't stop with just one chocolate bar. It'll escalate to another one, and then maybe a big packet of crisps, maybe some biscuits, maybe some cake. When you're feeling down, and we've all been there, you've broken up with somebody, you've had a stressful day, you want comfort food, and it makes you feel better for that few hours. If you're not on a diet, you don't really feel bad about it. But if you've been on a diet or going through a diet, and then you sort of have a binge day or a cheat day, it feels like you feel bad about it. You feel bad after you've eaten it, after a couple of hours, and it's there for you when you really need it. And after a couple of hours, it's done nothing for you, right? You enjoyed it for when you was eating it, and then, like I say, a couple of hours after, you don't feel that enjoyment anymore. It's a horrible, horrible sin, and I always say it's like they use you. The nice food uses you. It lures you in, and then gives you that bit of enjoyment for a matter of minutes, and then it's gone. And where it goes straight onto your body. Yeah. And I'm gonna be telling you today how to tackle binge eating. I'm not the best at really saying how to tackle it, but I feel like sometimes when somebody's gone through it and somebody's still going through it, they're probably the best people to actually talk to about it, because they might help them, even though they can't help themselves. I'm not saying I can't help myself, but people give a good advice but don't use their own advice on themselves. Today I'm going to be doing that sort of like discussion and helping people who might be struggling with binge eating, and some of the tips I'm going to give you will probably, well, they do help you because I actually have done it, and hopefully next time you feel like you are going to go straight into that cookie jar, you might not. First thing you need to understand is, why are you actually binge eating? Why are you going to that cake? Why are you going to all these treats to make you feel better, right? If you are feeling down, you need to tackle the reasons why you're feeling down. And do you think that actual food is going to make you feel better after you've ate the food? Are you still going to feel bad after? You know, say for instance, if you broke up with somebody as a relationship, and that relationship is not going to be any better after you've eaten 4,000 calories of sweets and chocolates, is it? It's not going to improve it. Yes, it will help you, like alcohol does. It helps you, but what happens after? You just make yourself feel really, really down. And also, the thing about sweet things is they give you a massive, massive sugar attack, right? But when the sugar starts disappearing out your system, you'll get a massive sugar crash, and you'll just feel even worse than you probably did before. And that's why you see kids, when you feed them a lot of sugar in a day, and then they start to get whingy after the sugar's starting to wear off. That is the reason why they're whingy, because they're actually having a sugar crash. So next time you think feeding your kids full of sweets and that, maybe you shouldn't, because if you don't want that whinging after, then don't feed them as many sweets. Obviously, a couple of sweets is fine, but not like hundreds and hundreds of sweets, you know, just to keep them happy. The reason why you binge eat is because you're just used of them foods, you know. If you enjoy them foods, and you're especially on a diet, you're gonna miss that thing. You're gonna miss that chocolate bar. You're gonna miss that, I don't know, that piece of cake you always had every week. And you need to think, right, I'm on a diet for a reason. So obviously you're not happy about the way you look. So you need to make down a plan and make sure that you can either cut the stuff out and not think about the cake, and think of the longer goal. I'm going to be back at square one, and then I'll probably end up eating more, and then my diet will be wrecked, and then I'll end up starting the diet again, and then I'll do it again the week after, and then what happens is you get through a vicious circle, and you'll just end up going, what's the point of dieting? I can't be bothered, you know. I can't stop like eating stuff that I like, and you need to tackle that. That's why I said sometimes you cannot just go cold turkey on the stuff you're used to, because you will just want it and more and more. When you can't have something, you want it, and you'll do probably anything to get it, unless you're very, very strong-willed. I suggest just like weaning yourself off before you even start a diet. Maybe if you're starting a diet at the start of a month, maybe that month before, start weaning yourself off all the nice stuff. So if you eat, like, I don't know, a packet of crisps a day, a chocolate bar a day, I know, half a packet of biscuits a day, I know, start weaning them off gradually. So by the time you start that diet, you can basically say you only eat maybe a packet of crisps a week. Maybe you have maybe a packet of biscuits that whole week, you know, a couple of biscuits a day, you know, whatever is easiest for you. Then you'll be on a good starting block for your diet, and you won't be craving stuff as much. Or the next tip might actually help you with them sweet cravings. If you've got sweet cravings and you're like me, I love my biscuits, you need to think of alternatives. If you are struggling with cravings for sugar, you need to think of alternatives. Maybe certain foods which are healthier, haven't got as much sugar in, but can actually give you that craving that you need. For instance, like protein bars are a good option because they're less in sugar, they're less in calories. Also, they've got a good hit of protein in, obviously if you're trying to get to your protein levels. Actual things like fruit. If you've got a sweet tooth, fruit is very good to hit that sweet tooth. You know, if you're a person like me who doesn't eat much fruit but likes it, then just, you know, start eating it. You know, if you like porridge or you like yogurts, stick some fruit in there and you'll get that craving gone a bit. You know, obviously it's not going to replace chocolate, but also if you're going to have a bit of chocolate, choose dark chocolate because it's actually a bit healthier for you. You know, just one slice and put it in some porridge and let it melt. And I know it's not going to replace a chocolate bar, but obviously if you're on a diet, that little bit will help you. And you know what, it might just curb that appetite to have a whole chocolate bar. The next tip is something I always say, and that is actually set yourself a goal. If you are dieting and you have not got no goal, obviously you're dieting because you want to lose weight or get toned. But if you're not dieting and you haven't got a goal, you need to set yourself a goal. It can be anything, like I say, it can be for a holiday, a competition, a photo shoot, to get into a certain size dress. It can be anything, and you put it down. Put it down on a piece of paper. Right, this is the goal. I want to get into that size dress in 12 weeks time. You know, if it was like just lowering a size dress, I want to get in that size dress in 12 weeks time, and I'm going to make sure of it because I'm going out with my mates and I really like that dress, but I cannot get in it now. So I want to get in that dress because I think I look sexy as F, and I want to go out on that town and prove to people that I am back and I am in my sexy ass dress, and I want to prove to people, yes, I still got it. So you need to have a goal, whatever pushes you, whatever makes you want to do it. It can be, for me, for my goals, I've got a constant goal. Obviously, there's different ones. You can have like short goals, you can have long-term goals. My proper goal, my short-term goals were obviously competition, and it's gone a bit because of obviously COVID. I've had a goal for 6 years now, and that is just to be generally fitter, healthier. I still have my bad stuff, you know, my treats. But 6 years ago, I said, right, I'm going to be fitter. I'm going to be fit as I was 10 years ago or whatever. And that reason was because of my son. I didn't want to be one of them unfit dads where I couldn't run around the park with him. I couldn't play football with him. I'm not going to be overweight, unhealthy, you know, and I could keep up with him as long as I possibly can until I'm actually physically old, and I couldn't do it because of actually being old, not because I'm unfit. And so far, it's fine. Everything is fine with me. I always keep myself fit, you know. You might not think so, but I am actually quite fit physically. I am very, very like strong-minded in like fitness wise, you know. I can't prove it because I don't show everything on camera, but I do make sure that I do keep to a weight that I'm happy with. I don't want to get like a massive belly. I don't want to be struggling to walk, you know, to run. You know, if I wanted to go outside now and do a 2-3 mile run, I could do it. Would it hurt? Yes, it would, because obviously I'm not doing it all the time, but I could do it. And that's what I'm saying, and that's what my goal is. And you need a goal to keep your diet going, you know, to keep your binging not coming back, because even though it might be in your head going, you want some cake, you got to think the more important thing. What's more important, that cake or you getting in that nice dress for that nice night out? Next tip is something which is pretty obvious everywhere, and that is get rid of all the rubbish out your house. If you don't want to binge, don't buy it, you know, get it all out the house. My problem is I live with my parents, I live with my son, and they all have sweet tooths. Yes, this is the reason probably why I still eat rubbish, because it's around me all the time. When I was training last year, you know, for the show, obviously I was with a girl and I was spending most of my time with her, and she didn't really have as much nice food, I would say, as here. Obviously my dad loves his stuff, my mom loves the stuff, obviously every kid loves everything, and they go on a little binge diets, I would say, where I say binge diet because they would go on the diet for like a matter of like 2 days, and then they'll go and buy cakes. So it's hard, and when they're all eating in front of you and you haven't got a goal, like I said, you just join in, you know. And that is the thing, that you just need to get rid of all the bad stuff out your house. If you live by yourself, or you're I would say, the person in charge of that house, get rid of all that stuff. If you've got kids, then buy stuff that the kids like and you maybe not like, you know, but get it rid. That's it. Get rid of it all, so the temptation is not there. Obviously, it doesn't mean you can't stop buying the stuff, because you can just walk around the shop or go and order a Chinese or whatever you're going to get, but you still got to do that. And I would say 8 times out of 10, you won't be bothered to go around the shop just for a chocolate bar. Some people do, I have done, but you're not going to be getting it as regularly as going into a kitchen and getting it every single minute, hour and day. So there is my tips on binging. You know, obviously some of these tips are quite obvious and some of them you might not heard of. If you have actually been through binge eating and suffered from it really bad, let me know down below. If you have any other ideas which you've done or suggest, comment down below, because obviously the more information that is on this channel or down below can help somebody else. You know, somebody might be reading and say, oh yeah, that's a good idea, you know, and I might have not heard of it as well. I probably have got other ones in my head, but I cannot think of them at the moment. But please comment down below. Obviously subscribe, like this video if you do, and I will see you next time.